from bottom of my heart, I express my thanks to Ankit because his introduction really encourages any person who must be coming to you on these virtual platforms for discussions. So, Ankit, you have got a wonderful knack of initiating and creating enthusiasm right in the beginning. Friends, let us pay our rich tribute to Santa Gadge Baba, who was a social reformer and, in true sense, real educationist, we can say. And under his name only, our Santa Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati, now stands with pride. I am also thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, Registrar, and most importantly, Director of UGC Madan Mohan Malviya Teachers Training. You can say earlier, which was known as UGC HRDC, Dr. Atik sir. Also, I am thankful to principal and management of our today's associated college, College of Engineering and Technology, Bhavnari, which is located near at Jalgaon. I was also, by some different ways, associated with this college. So I feel really happy to have interaction with excellent and expert academicians from these institutes. So as Ankit has rightly said, we will try to make this session as interactive session. Friends, now NEP is not new. Almost 3 years are completed. Two batches of postgraduate, you can say, education had come out also, and our undergraduate batch is also in the now third year, and fourth year will also start. So we have started applying various, you can say, points mentioned in NEP. But when we are in between the implementation stage, probably that is the most important learning phase, in my opinion, because now we have experiences, certain pit and falls of the policy, our understanding actually what has been given, what how we have understood, how we are implementing. Many times we feel it is the role of statutory regulatory authorities and we are only to follow it. So there are a lot of confusions also when we implement. Sometimes we find that student strength has reduced tremendously as far as college attendance is considered. We feel that many times teachers are also confused a bit exactly what is our role, what is our the job role, what is our contact load, what is our workload, and are we underloaded or are we overloaded? Is it my job? Is it what is not my job? So many such things. So right time to get such doubts clarified. For that, what is more important is to understand the spirit of NEP, what are the fundamental premise on which the policy is framed, and what are truly guidelines given to us, instruments given to us, what is the flexibility given to us, what is where rigidity is there, what is that we can do, what is that we cannot do. So many things we can understand if we understand the document from spirit point of view. So this 3 hour session, we will try to go to understand those fundamental concepts of NEP, which will be very much useful in implementing it. So this session, as Ankit has very rightly, I generally call him Dr. Ankit, but at times I have noticed that he does not like I when I use the word doctor. But still, I feel happy that what Dr. Ankit has initially told, that our 3 hour session, we will divide it in two sessions. Each will be of approximately, say, 1.5 hours or so. Now, then we will take, with the permission of Atik sir and Ankit, 5 minutes tea break, and again we will continue our next session of about 1.5 hours. My suggestion will be, wherever you feel that because of now experience of implementing NEP, something more the expert faculty can add, all our learned faculty, please feel free. I will not take it as intervention. I will take it as supplementary activity. So please feel free to share your knowledge if something I am missing, or please feel free to correct me if you feel that something probably I am not, in your opinion, in your prediction, it is not correct. Again, question answer, generally we keep it at the end, but again, as Ankit has rightly said, in between also, if we have, we can go in. So with this brief introduction, let us understand how you will be going. So here, when we say that we are implementing NEP, first and foremost thing, what we have to do when we say that we are implementing NEP is that let it be session like what we have today. Let it be any training program. Let it be our regular 1 hour, you can say theory session, or 2 hours practical sessions. The fundamental thing is we have to very clearly specify what will be the learning outcome of that session. And at the end of that, we have to assess whether those learning outcome which we have made it public, which our learners also know, a teacher also knows very well, it is very clearly specified. At the end of that session, we have to assess whether those learning outcomes are attained by the learner or not. So first thing, friends, whenever you will conduct your regular class, please, before starting any bit of our unit or module, please very clearly specify what at the end of that session, or of the end of that module, or of the end of that bit of module, the learners, means in our case students, and today our learned participants will be able to take out from that session. So let us make it ourselves clear that after this session, all learned participants will be able to understand the journey of NEP, or pillars on which this policy is completely standing. Then all of us will be very clear from NEP's interpretation and point of view, what is the concept, aims, domains, and types of education. So these things will be clear in our part 1 of session 1. Our session 1 will have 2 parts. So part 1 of our session 1, all of us will be able to understand the journey or pillars of NEP, and what really mean, what is how the education is defined, the word definition is education is defined in this policy, what is the aim, or what education is to be taken by the student and given by the teachers, what are the domains of that education and types. So let us begin with it. So friends, this national education policy is different than all our earlier policies. It is not first time that independent India has certain education policy. We had Radhakrishnan Commission, we have Kothari Commission, we had Ishwal Commission, and now we also have a National Education Policy 2020. Our last policy was implemented somewhere in 1985-86, and in the very same year, journey of this policy really started when you can say Washington Accord came into existence. And we know Washington Accord has given the mechanism something like auditing, quality auditing of higher education system, giving certain global benchmark, giving certain measurable parameters in education, methods of measuring those parameters and comparing with those international global benchmark, finding out the gap. And that is how quality assurance in higher education, and after audit, certification, what we call as accreditation, came into picture. So you will find quality is also one of the pillars, and the word accreditation, even for school as well as for higher education, and lot of, you can say, paras are devoted for accrediting system nationally as well as for school and higher education. So that is one of the thing which started immediately when last policy was implemented. Second was in 1992, India has adopted liberalization, privatization, and mainly globalization as our national policy. That time we thought GATT agreement is for trade and industry, but no. Education was also one of the sectors, and globalization of Indian education, mapping Indian education with global standard, and integration of Indian national education system with global system, that also started in 1992. And you will find this policy also talks about global standards, international standard curricula, international standard practices. So that is also one of the pillar. Major thing happened somewhere in 1997 when Brundtland Committee report came in United Nations, and it shook all 173 member countries because that Brundtland Committee report title was Our Common Future, and that report you can say demonstrated the dangers of concept of development followed for last 2 3 centuries, and then global warming, all those problems related with environment, migration, social economics, environment, all those concerns came out through that report, and the world accepted the concept of sustainability development, and set out 17 sustainable development goals. This also you will find has got footprint in this policy. By 2003, 2004, based on that concept of sustainability and sustainability development goals, various accord came out. Importantly for us, Bonn's Declaration and Johannesburg Declaration, best for sustainability development, were related with education. What is that? In Bonn's Declaration, the world has accepted that onus of spreading, educating the world about sustainability and developing sustainable development technologies and ways of living is kept on the shoulder of education, and particularly higher and technical education in particular. So this policy you will find at number of places there is mention of sustainability development goals, and particularly SDG 4, which talks about quality education and you can say responsibility of higher education towards attaining SDGs. So this also you will find have milestone in this policy. So access, equity, then quality, all those aspects of sustainability and Bonn's Declaration, Johannesburg Declaration, we will find they are they find the place in this policy. Then in somewhere 2006, 2007, whole world or particularly our country was revolutionized with information technology revolution. Let it be banking sector, let it be share market sector, let it be other sensitive sectors. They were all touched upon by IT revolution. Probably we, the education sector, slightly kept away from that time, that revolution. But soon we realized that IT enabled education is important tool for taking education to those which are deprived of higher quality education, reaching unreachable, and that too on mass scale with quality content. It was found that we cannot go away without IT enabled education. So all these things which happened nationally and internationally since 1985 to almost 2013, when the draft policy was submitted by Dr. Kasturi Rangan sir, you will find all these national, international important events and decisions and memorandum, understandings, agreements, you will find they find a place in this policy. So what is the outcome? We know that journey of NEP is not a short duration. Some committees formed they deliberated and came out with document, and then it was converted into policy. No, this is the policy which is a journey right from 1985 to 2013. All things which are important and irreversible as far as national interests are considered, they find a place in this policy. So takeaway is that NEP is based on international national commitments. So we have to go ahead. There is no chance that we can retract from this. So, nutshell, you will find there are five important pillars on which complete policy is based. Why we should understand this journey and pillars? Because when it comes to implementation, all action plans you will find they are related with either of these five some pillars. The important observation of that committee was the gross enrollment ratio in higher education. We will be talking mainly about higher education. Even the policy is complete from school education, pre-primary education to higher education. But we will discuss only higher education part of this policy. So the draft committee has observed that in India, out if 100 students pass out class 12th or equivalent, less than 25 get enrolled into university education system. So this is known as gross enrollment ratio. So our gross enrollment ratio was less than 25. Even developed state like Maharashtra had around 25 only as a gross enrollment ratio. So the thrust of the policy was to increase this gross enrollment ratio from 25 to 50. It means presently, whatever students are enrolled in university education system, that number should go double within, say, before 2035. That is the target set in this policy. So there are various provisions made to enhance this access to the education. You will find provisions like multi-entry, multi-exist, wherein those who have left education because of any reason, there is provision to get accommodated into higher education system. You will find earlier entry point was only 12th or equivalent. Now, whole system is converted into level-based education, so it's not necessary that formal 12th or HSSC has to be done to register or to enroll for university education system. Whomsoever has completed level 4 can come to level 4.5. Level 4 is equivalent to 12. Level 4.5 is equivalent to first year of university education system. So you may find up to age of 14, of course, formal schooling is mandatory under right to education. But a boy or girl who has attained age of 14 through formal education system, which may be equivalent to standard 8, without formal education, through informal mode, if the student attains level equivalent to 12, the student can enter into university level education system. Even those who have done vocational education, maybe MCVC, maybe ITIs, so those there is provision of integrating those vocationally qualified students to come to university education system. So there are various ways and means to enhance the access to the higher education. Why we should understand it? Because those who are involved in admission process, earlier our eligibility was say 12th with certain subjects only. Henceforth, you will find the eligibility to come to even engineering education will not only be 12th, but it will be level 4 and probably not only physics, chemistry, mathematics, but the students who complete with basket of courses, maybe one or two courses may be made mandatory, and they can also come to the higher, our even engineering education. So those type of provisions are made from that point of view we should understand the pillar of access. Second important, you can say, pillar is again from sustainable attaining sustainability development goal 4, that is having same quantity and same quality of learning resources, irrespective of the location, irrespective of the strata where you are located. So let the student be in the place of Jalgaon, Bamburi or Amravati or even tribal, rural or metro, anywhere. The quality and quantity of learning resources, a learner must get access to the same quality and quantity of learning resources. For that purpose, many online platforms like Swayam or more platforms they will made available. Many learning resources at national level may be made and will be made available. That is what is the second important pillar, equity. So we at our level also have to keep in mind that we no more can give excuse that we get village students, nothing like that. Even though irrespective of the location, the global benchmark, international standard, quantity and quality material through maybe online platform, maybe through Swayam like platform, maybe through a open education mode, maybe through videos, but equity has to be maintained as far as learning resources are considered. This is the second important point which we have to keep in mind when we implement NEP. Third, of course, quality I have already discussed. We know that accreditation system, we know now parameters. Many changes you will find coming in accreditation system, let it be NAC or NBA, in accordance in mapping with the you can say whatever is stated in NEP. So I have talked about how quality is also given equal weightage along with equity and access. India is a very heterogeneous country with lot of economic and other strata. So nobody should be deprived of quality education. So deserving and desiring students should not get deprived of education because of affordability. That is also an important, you can say, statement or policy matter mentioned in NEP. So there are various mechanisms suggested, the responsibility with union government, state government, philanthropies. So various provisions have been made for that. So affordability is also important. And last and important is accountability. Since we are going towards outcome-based education, audit-based education, global benchmark and international standards, measurable parameters, very fixed outcomes, if those outcomes are not met, so various instruments are not yet come for this pillar accountability, but we the teachers, we the education provider will have to keep in mind that first time probably in education sector, the term accountability is appearing as important pillar of the policy. So earlier the system was like that if student fails, there was nobody used to take any accountability of failure of the student. People will say, we did what we were expected. If student fail, what can we do? Earlier, there were not much pressing for nowadays. Recently, it has started about higher education or placement of the student. We used to say we have done our job. Now we are not employment exchange. We cannot guarantee everybody's placement. Probably henceforth all those things we may get accounted for. So even though many instruments have not come on this pillar, but accountability is important pillar of this policy we have to keep in mind. Now, once we have understood the journey and the pillars, now let us go inside the policy. Probably, friends, this is the first time that very clearly few concepts are made clear, such as what is education? Education is aptly defined in this policy. Second thing, because Accountability is the pillar, the purpose of education. Why education? Why learner should get education? Why we, the education provider, should give the education? So, what is the purpose? That is also very clearly given. So, we have to understand it because it defines our role. Then, once what is education is defined, we will see now. You will find education means it is divided in three domains, and each domain is further given into different stages. So this is also clearly given and we have to understand. And last important part about definition is the strongest recommendation of this policy is integration of various types of education. The draft policy makers have mentioned that higher education is highly fragmented presently, means at that time. And they say that it is detrimental for the development of student as well as country. So fragmented education is not the right way of education. So they have very strongly recommended integration, multidisciplinary, various types of education should be integrated. And that integrated model will be the model for education as per NEP. So for that integration of various types, initially we must understand what are various types. So now when we are entering into the policy, let us understand what the policy tells about what is education. You will find that these policy makers or Dr. Kasturi Rangan sir's team. Yes, anybody? Yeah, yeah, Dr. Chavan sir, anything you want to add? Ankit sir, can you please request them to mute their mic? Chavan sir, your personal discussion. Chavan sir, please mute your mic. It is disturbing. Yeah. So this draft policy makers, they have seen what does education mean worldwide. So they have considered Western thinkers like Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, then our thinkers like Swami Vivekananda ji and everybody. And finally, in the policy, the definition of education is given, which takes care of it is more towards Swami Vivekananda's definition, but it takes care of Socrates and Western thinkers' definition also. So let us understand what is education defined, how is education defined in this policy. As per this policy, education is manifestation of divine perfection already existing within an individual. So let us understand it. It talks about individual. So our earlier concept of education was something like mass education. We used to consider that a class of 60, it is a uniform and everybody is having same interest, same passion, same listening capacity, same comprehension capability. So when a teacher preaches, everybody receives it equally and all will perform equally. But in this definition, the concept of group is not there. It is all about learning, that to personalize learning, individual learning. So at number of places in policy, you will find mentioned about individuals learning, personalized learning. What does it mean? They say that okay, गंगा बहुत पवित्र है, वो बहुत अच्छी बहती है, लेकिन अगर मटके ने उल्टा खुद को रखा तो पानी नहीं जा सकता. It is all about learning. It's not about what teacher preaches. So complete now education system is converted into personalized learning, individuals learning concept rather than teachers concept. Now second thing, perfection already within that individual. So this policy accepts that every individual is blessed with certain specific attributes, passions, interests that is very special to every individual and it is already existing. What is the role then? Education is manifestation of those perfection. So for us, what is the takeaway? Takeaway is that our role is to facilitate the learner to know themselves. So our first job is to make student understand who are they, understand ourselves, who are we. And then once we are able to help student to find out the areas of passion, interest, and you can say whatever inner attributes are already present in that individual, then our role is to facilitate those that individual to manifest those perfection which are already there. Our role now from preacher gets converted into facilitator. So our main job becomes know your student individually. Understand what are the specific best attributes of that individual and accordingly give counseling, advice, and facilitate that individual to excel in the perfections which are already within that individual. So what we have to do, in what way we have to facilitate, it will be through integrating knowledge, attitude, and skills of those specialities of that individual. So when what is education? Education means giving knowledge, information, giving psychomotor domain skills, training, and giving behavior attitudes of those so that the best use of already existing attributes can be done. So, what is our role now as per NEP as a teacher, in my opinion? Now, from preacher, we have been made to understand we are facilitator. Our first role is to help students to understand themselves, to find out their inner attributes and give knowledge, skill and behavior. So any education cannot be completed unless these three things, knowledge, skill, and behavioral development is done. So our role will not be only giving knowledge. Our role will be giving knowledge, giving skills, as well as developing right behavior, right attitude. That is what have been made our role in this policy. So once we have understood what is how education is defined, second question is very clearly what is the aim of education? Why learners should learn and why we the education provider should educate. The aim is very clearly given that it will not only be cognitive development but individuals equipped with 21st century skills and character building, behavioral building. So this will be our aim. So whether I have got first year syllabus, second year syllabus, third year, whatever curriculum, it must have three things: cognitive development part, 21st century part, and attitude and behavioral moral development part. So unless these three components are there, the education at such, we cannot call it a complete curriculum or syllabus. So while framing curriculum, while framing syllabus, while delivering it, or while assessing, we have to ensure that all these three domains are present. Second thing very clearly given, mandate given to we the education provider is it must prepare, see the word must is used, for meaningful and satisfying lives. See, the pillar of accountability, how we will be accounted for. If our alumni are leading meaningful and satisfying lives, then they will say that we have done our job. Second thing, we must prepare students for their future job roles. So when as soon as student enter in my college, maybe in first semester, I have to understand what will be the possible job roles, work roles after 6, 7 years for this student. I have to continually monitor the economic condition, what will be the effect of artificial intelligence, what will be the new skills required in those areas. And I have to equip that student when the student is with me in my institution for future work roles. Third thing, we have to prepare for their economic independence. So understand the pillar of accountability and understand what is the mandate given to we the education provider. That is the probably important two line for we the educator. We have to prepare student for meaningful life. We have to prepare student for their future work roles in the economic condition, and we have to make them economically independent. And that has to be done through three domains: cognitive domain, skill, 21st century skilling domain, and character building. This is what is very clearly specified, and probably for this we may be held accountable later on. So let us understand these three domains and their levels, because when we frame the curriculum, when we frame the syllabi and deliver the syllabi, or when we assess, so when accreditation will take place, it will be checked whether we are doing this for three domains or not. What are those three domains? One is knowledge domain, second is scaling, that is psychomotor domain, and third is affective domain. Now this knowledge domain, which we are expert in, for years together we are doing very well in knowledge domain. But henceforth, knowledge domain must have two components. One is descriptive knowledge, other is procedural knowledge. Means there should be one component: theories, concept, principle, laws, and understanding of the world. So that is important. But second also component in knowledge should be knowing how. So critical thinking, reasoning, that why theories are true, why whatever laws are stated, why they are factual. So why facts are true, that type of thinking has to be developed in procedural knowledge. So this is what is about what is expected in knowledge domain. But friends, every domain will have levels. In one word, we are moving towards level-based, competency-based qualification system. So even in knowledge, let it be descriptive or procedural, there will be various, this knowledge domain talks about information, understanding, thinking, and knowledge. There will be 6 levels. Lowest is memorizing, remembering, just recalling whatever is learned. या टेबल्स याद करो, पोएम्स याद करो, कुछ हिस्टोरिकल डेट्स याद करो, कुछ लॉज याद करो, कुछ प्रिंसिपल याद करो. So that is considered to be the lowest part. So is memory not important? Yes. But is it sufficient? Not at all. It is considered to be lowest. What is the takeaway from that? When we have got first or second semester syllabus, we may have something based on memory, but more should be other than memory. What are those other steps? Understanding, comprehension. So grasping the meaning of material, explaining the idea of concept, not only memorizing the idea or concept, but explaining it. So is it sufficient to explain, to understand along with memorizing? Again, it is a lower level. No, only understanding is not sufficient. Whatever we have memorized, whatever we have understood, students should be able to use it. So using that learned material in new and concrete situation is important step in higher education. What is that? That is application. But is it higher level? No, it is also intermediate level. Above that, analysis, evaluation, and finally synthesis. So when my curriculum for first year, second year, third year, fourth year, postgraduate first year, postgraduate second year, research. So as we climb the levels, our knowledge domains, curriculum, syllabi, our teaching, our assessment examination should reflect that as the level increases, we move from memorizing, understanding, application towards analyzing, evaluation, and synthesis. That should be reflected, and that will be tested in our accreditation, etc. From that point of view, even though it is knowledge domain, the levels and stages, everybody of us should be understood very clearly. So similarly, For that each level, assessment will be different. What is important in NEP is not only teaching, it is assessment which is more important because teaching is a facilitating learning and assessment. Learning is to be done by learner and assessment is to be done by competent authority. And balance of learning, learning outcome and assessment depending upon the domain and level. This is what is implementation of NEP. So for each level, there will be different assessment techniques. So we must understand what is difference between assessment, examination and evaluation. We must understand difference between formative assessment, summative assessment. The NEP strongly recommends to move away from, you can say, or to move more towards formative assessment and move away from final examination, high stake examination. And for various verticals, new tools like rubric based, criteria based, project based, capstone project based. So various type of tools, techniques have to be used depending upon the learning level and domain. This is what is the first domain. Second important domain with equal weightage is psychomotor domain. We have to imbibe 21st century skills into the student. That is the mandate of NEP. NEP implementation means knowledge domain, cognitive domain, 21st century and character building. All and integration of various types. Unless these things are there, implementation of NEP will not be considered as just truly in spirit it is implemented. So what is there in skills domain? Capacity, the competencies, these are the two things very important. The ability to be consistent and repeatable and competencies are learning achievement. So whenever we talk about 21st century skilling or psychomotor domain, remember two words, capacities or skills and competencies. Again repeat, we are moving toward level-based, competency-based system. So in psychomotor domain, there will be again 7 stages of this psychomotor, which is training and doing skills. Perception, get, set, go. Perception, set and guided response to mechanism, complete overt response, adoption and organization. So when I am preparing syllabi for first semester, second semester, or 4.5 level, probably setting and guided response will be accepted. That is my first semester practicals. As a demonstrator demonstrates, completely gives the process, completely gives the tools, completely you can say gives practices, and we expect students that they master, they have the competency of repeating whatever has been told to do. But that will be only for first year, first or second semester up to guided response. But as we move to second year, that is level 5 or level 5.5, our skilling levels also will go up to mechanism, complete overt adoption to creating new patterns for specific situation, what is called that organization. So even in skilling domain, when we set our practicals or vocational skills component, ensure that appropriate to the level, the stage of skilling is also achieved. Otherwise, when audit will take place, our assessment, our record, our student outcome should show that achievement of first year are altogether different than for second year, of higher in third year and maximum in fourth year of undergraduate program. So this is the about psychomotor domain. Third domain is values and disposition domain. The policy clearly says that effective action needs strong motivation along with knowledge and capacity. So having knowledge and having skills is not sufficient. Ultimately, what is required is effective action. And for that, motivation is required. And motivation comes through values and dispositions. This is the premise of NEP. And equal weightage is given on developing these values, dispositions, attitudes, right, behavioral pattern while those students are in education system itself So that responsibility of molding positive attitude, right behavior, right responses, motivated, you can say, human resource, that is also now given on the shoulders of education system. So we have this, the affective domain is also having level based from receiving to internalizing. So for lower level, the student may follow whatever value system is there of the system or of the environment or institution itself. So that is what is expected. But as the student go from 4.5 to 5 or 5 to 5.5 or up to the research, the we have to ensure that sense of responsibility, teamwork, value-based system, ethical ways, physical values as well as cyber values, because we live in both the cyber world also we live and physical world also now we live. So there are values, ethics for both the world. So those values are inculcated. That has to be ensured. In nutshell, earlier plagiarism was considered to be offense only for PLD. Now, even in our first semester, if in our term work or assignments, some student do it, others simply copy and we value and give same grades, it will be considered, we will be accountable for not imbibing value system in our student. Let it be cultural program, let it be sports program, let it be community engagement program, let it be assignments, let it be term work, let it be tour, let it be field project. So we have to observe criteria-based, rubrics-based assessment has to be done, and we have to ensure our record should show that we inculcate value systems. We tell students that copying somebody's without giving credit, so what we call it as plagiarism, is not only for PhD, even it for your assignment. So those things, those records we will have to keep, we will have to show, demonstrate that this affective domain is equally implemented. That is what is the concept of education as per NEP. Now, last part of our part one of session one is the understanding what are various types of education. Why should we understand? Because NEP strongly recommends integration of various types of education. Earlier system was fragmented system. NEP system is integrated system. So what are various types which are envisioned in this policy? One is academic education, which is mainly focused on information and knowledge domain. Our earlier system was more towards academic education. So it was more focused on information and knowledge. There was distinct stream, what we call it as vocational education. So what is the difference between how vocational education differs from academic education? Vocational education keeps certain area specific work situation in the economy, and the students are prepared which with close linking of knowledge and skill to that particular situation. Particularly, we know that in MCVC or in ITIs or even in polytechnics, certain situations, certain job roles were kept in mind and students were prepared for that only. Now, the NEP strongly recommends that both these education should be integrated and there should be easy flow from vocational education. Students should come to academic education. From academic education, students should be able to go to vocational education. Academic education in isolation will not be there. Every, let it be BA, become BSc, BE or any course, vocational component will be essential part of academic education. Integration of this is the strongest recommendation. And other types we know professional education, technical education, we are very well aware. This NEP talks about integration of all types of education and to make a 360-degree, you can say, personality, and fragmented education, only arts, only commerce, only science, only engineering. That type of isolated standalone education is slowly will go and we will come out. So you will find in NEP curriculum, you will have vocational skill component, skill education component, community engagement service component, value education, as the student will have to earn credits. Without that, the degree will not be awarded. So integration of three domains, integration of various types, and moving towards level-based, competency-based education is the guideline or first important part of higher education as envisioned in NEP. So for this first part of our session 1, now our learning outcome was very clear. So let us have assessment. Then only we will say that we are conducting this session also as per NEP. So dear participants, let us recap. Can we recap what are the pillars of NEP and journey? Yes, we know 5 pillars: access, equity, quality, affordability, accountability. So 5 pillars we know, and whatever action plan is there, it will be have threads attached with either of the pillars of those NEP. What is the concept of education? We know from group education, mass education, from you can say military like uniform, everybody is same, battalion like thing. We will going towards personalized learning, individualistic learning, and as per new education's definition, there are certain distinct divine perfection already in every individual. Everybody is blessed with certain attributes, certain interests, certain speciality, and role of education provider is to help that learner to identify how is the person is special, what are the speciality, and to help to facilitate that individual through knowledge, skill, and behavior to manifest those. So this is the concept, and our role from preacher is changed to a facilitator. So our role is to help individual to know thyself and help to bring out best out of that person by giving contemporary knowledge, skills, and behavior. What is the clear mandate given to us, the educator? We have to prepare student for meaningful life, अर्थपूर्ण, उद्देशपूर्ण जीवन जगले पाहिजे. We have to prepare for that. We have to prepare student for future job roles. So we have to keep eye what will happen after 5, 6, 7 years, and all those knowledge, skills, and behavioral traits should be embedded in student. And we have to ensure student will live economic independence, and we will be accountable for that. That is the mandate given by NEP. We know domains of education, three domain: cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, and affective domain. And each domain will have various levels. We know aim of education is to develop personality in all these three domains as per the level. And we know integration of various type is the mandate, and type is academic, say vocational education, technical education, professional education, various disciplines, and integration of those types and disciplines, multidisciplinary, and you can say integrated education is the mandate of NEP. This is what is the basis for our curriculum and syllabi. So let us wait for 1 minute. If anybody wants to add or anybody wants to know something about this part 1 of session 1, we will wait. Else, we will go to our part 2 of session 1. We will wait only for 1 minute. If anybody wants to add, free. Okay, let us go to our part 2 of session 1. Now, this cornerstones of quality learning given in Article 12 or Clause 12 of NEP is the important guideline for we the teachers or education provider. So here, our expected expected learning outcome of this subpart of our, you can say, session 1 is all the learned participants will be able to understand the four cornerstones of quality learning as envisioned in NEP in clause 12. In friends, please give attention to this clause because we as a teacher, what we are expected to do in accreditation, what will be checked. If we understand this para, we clearly know what is expected from we as an individual teacher. See, as a system, as a university, as a government, as a whole education system, that we are slowly learning. But एज ए इंडिविजुअल टीचर मुझे क्या करना है मैं एज ए इंडिविजुअल टीचर को एग्जैक्टली एनईपी इम्प्लीमेंट करना है तो क्या करना है सो दिस आर्टिकल 12 इम्प्लीमेंट करना है दैट इज व्हाट वी आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू डू एज ए इंडिविजुअल टीचर व्हाट डज दिस क्लॉज 12 से appropriate curriculum now see what is that appropriate they talk about internationally relevant curricula opportunities for social engagement and goal of global quality standard. This is what is mean by appropriate curriculum. So it is a journey from local to global through national. So our curricula has to be internationally relevant. It must have multidisciplinary approach like science, social science along with our main discipline. It must provide opportunities for social engagement. So social engagement and community engagement and services is mandate of curricula and everything should be as to set achieve the global quality standard. This is the meaning of appropriate curricula. So when those who are in board of studies etc or in autonomous colleges, when we set the curricula, ensure that it is appropriate in this context. Second is corresponding to curricula pedagogy, so teaching technique, teaching methodologies. For each of the vertical, there will be a different technique. How it should be? It should be designed to ensure stimulating and engaging learning experiences for all students. So we are moving towards experiential learning. So preaching, only lecturing, that is considered to be only to the optimum or minimum level. From lecturing to experiencing, so we are flipped classroom, experiential learning, bringing experience, that is professors of practice, bringing experiences in the classroom or taking classroom for experiential learnings. So internship, apprenticeship, field visits, community engagement. So learning should happen through experiences. Anubhavadhishtit shikshan. That is what is mandated in clause 12 to all us. So our present methods of giving maximum lectures and minimum experiences, now it is just 180-degree it is to be changed. Minimum lecturing. If we want to give lectures, it is expected that do it through flipped learning. Provide them best possible videos. Let them whatever we are supposed to lecture in the class, give that material in the form of videos to the student, and whatever we expect student to do at home, like homework, assignment, term work, let them do it in the classroom. So flip learning has to be practiced in big way. We have to provide opportunities for maximum experiential learning. Wherever experiential, we cannot give experiences, then bring experiences in the classroom. So method of professor of practice is encouraged. So appropriate to the curriculum for each vertical, teaching strategies, teaching methodologies, teaching pedagogies will be different, but aim will be learning experiences, engaging the stimulating and engaging like experiences. Now focus will be towards Anubhava-dhishtit Shikshan. So more of vocational education, more of apprenticeship, more of internship, more of field visit, more of field project, more of professors of practice. This is what has to be practiced, and that is what we will be accounted for. Next is assessment. Complete change in assessment system is expected. So all of us will have to understand difference between assessment, examination, and evaluation, formative assessment, and summative assessment. Clause 12 clearly states that it we slowly high-stake examinations will be minimized, formative assessment will be preferred, summative assessment will be reduced. So what is expected from we, the individual teacher, is to change our present method of assessment, evaluation, examination towards more of continuous and formative assessment and less weightage on end examinations. So lot of reforms. Already many documents have come on exam reforms, assessment reforms. So third component where along with curriculum and teaching strategies and methodologies, assessment and examination reforms. And for that, fourth is student support for each of it. This is what is the major change envisioned for we individual teacher and education provider. For that, neither university is expected nor any other statutory bodies are expected. We individual, my classroom, my complete coursework, my individual's assessment in accreditation will be looked from whether I have implemented these four cornerstones of quality learning. So whether I have appropriate curriculum within the given university curriculum and syllabi, there is flexibility in practicals, etc., to suit so to get correct social engagement opportunities, experiences, learning experiences type of curriculum. Teaching strategies, methodologies for my every subject, practicals, every vertical may be different. For every topic, it will be different. My assessment must be appropriate with requirement of learning outcome. And for all these, whether what adequate student support I am providing, am I providing videos, with am I providing quality learning resources, am I providing helping hand for you can say upgrading through continuous assessment, and all those records will have to be kept. So that is what will be probably checked when next NAC or NBA cycle will come to the individual. So from that perspective, my request is please visit NEP's only class 12. If we read class 12 two or three pages, but each word, each sentence, go in between the line, go beyond that word and see what are the instruments given by AICT and NEP in support of each of these. Then you will really say that yes, I am implementing NEP. Now, second important part is see everything what we do, let it be curriculum, let it be pedagogy, or let it be assessment. It has to be within the broad framework of higher education. Please, friend, let us understand one thing. We are going from local to global through national. There is a system of academic bank of credit. There is a system of flexibility of earning credits from various resources, maybe through formal education, online education, through open education, distance education. There is flexibility of transfer of credits. And for that, some umbrella is given at national level So every university, every academic autonomous institution, every affiliated college is free to exercise, but subject to boundaries of framework given. Nobody nationally, whether you are in Mumbai University, Jalgaon University, Amravati University, or any university, any college, any autonomous institution, your autonomy will be under the umbrella of frameworks given nationally. That is how the system of academic bank of credit, system of, you can say, multi-entry market, system of flexibility of changing of from vocational stream to academic stream, from one institution to another institution, that will be regulated through certain framework. And remember, as an individual teacher, as an individual institution, as a university, everybody has to be is bound by this national framework. From that perspective, when we implement NEP, we must very clearly understand those frameworks. There are three important frameworks. One is credit framework, second is qualification framework, third is, you can say, curriculum framework. So let us understand one by one. So first is credit framework. The document which you see on this board is National Credit Framework Document, NCRF. See, well, let it be Ministry of Education, let it be UGC, let it be AICT, let it be any statutory body except law and medical education, all statutory regularity bodies have come on one platform and come out with this document. What is the meaning? This national credit framework is applicable to UGC regulated courses, AICT regulated courses, anybody, NCRT, anybody and anyone which comes under Ministry of Education, everybody is bound by same credit framework as given in this document. Now, we are moving from mark system to credit system. We as a teacher must clearly understand what credit means, how and when student can earn credit, and more importantly, how and when we can award credit. See, in many of the verticals, credits are given at institute level, means at individual teachers level. So is there any test? See, earlier we used to send incentive marks. Only somebody takes part in certain NSS or in sports or in cultural. Some incentive marks were given and were sent and accepted. We are giving credit for all such verticals like co-curricular courses, community engagement courses, value-based education courses. But are they governed by certain framework? Answer is yes. Today we are awarding credits, students are earning credits, but tomorrow all these credits will put under scanner when audit will take place. From that perspective, please understand the concept of credit clearly. As we know, credit is of course measure of coursework. Now it depends on 5 points. Unless those test of 5 is there, credits cannot be earned by the student, neither we can give credit to the student. What are those 5 points which we have to ensure? Number one, credit is related to learning time, learning hours of the student. Remember, it is not teaching hours, it is learning hours. So there is a clear difference between academic workload of a teacher and academic workload of a learner. Credits are awarded depending upon the learning hours of the student, not the teaching hours or contact hours of a teacher. Number one. Second thing, the credits are the function of demonstrating the achievement of desired learning outcome of program, course, training determined by successful assessment by competent authority. What does it mean? Let it be program, let it be course, let it be training, let it be my class. First and foremost, I have to clearly spell out what is expected or desired learning outcome. So we have to ensure that we have displayed the desired learning outcome. Second thing, it has to be shown, demonstrated by the learner that the student has achieved those learning outcomes. So, yeah, please, thank you, Ankit. Ask people to please keep their mics off. So, it is equally important that assessment is done and student demonstrate the attainment of those outcomes, then only credits have to be given. Who will do the assessment? Assessment is to be done only by competent authority. Suppose student brings some certificate that student has done some, you can say internship in some shop. We accept that certificate and sends the credit. Is it acceptable? Answer is no. If student shows that certain participation has taken place and only on that participation certificate we give the credit, is it accepted? Answer is no. There has to be assessment. So let it be sports, let it be cultural, let it be community engagement, let it be internship, let it be apprenticeship, let it be any experiential learning. Assessment is essential component of credit allotment and credit earning. And that assessment has to be done only by competent authority. And assessment is to be done of stated learning outcome. And assessment should show that assessment is done to test whether student has demonstrated achievement of those outcomes. When all these things are there, then only credits will be considered as valid. So in our course file, whatever credits we send of internal assessment, please ensure that record of learning hours of student stating statement of expected or desired learning outcome, assessment of those, you can say, parameters of expected learning outcome, and record that student have demonstrated the attainment of those outcomes. All these records only will validate award of credits. So from that perspective, credits have to be clear, understood. And our course file now, when next time when NAC or you can say NBA will come, they will check for internal assessment. Show us your expected outcome. Show us your assessment technique which maps the question maps with or your assessment maps with expected outcome, and show the record that student have demonstrated achievement of those outcomes, then our credits will be considered as valid. So learning hours, learning outcome, assessment, and achievement, attainment of outcome. Unless these five things are there, credits will not get validated. Now, from where credits can be earned? Now, credits can be earned wherever learning happens. Maybe by virtue of academic education, vocational education, skill education, experiential learning, classroom learning, tutorial, lab work, assessment, class test. Those hours are also counted. Activities student take part. Then you can say debate, discussion, celebration of festivals, self-defense, sports games, life skills, social community work, field visit, then projects, internship. So wherever learning happens, the credits can be earned provided those five tests are there. Learning hours, it should be matched. It should be matched with learning outcome. It should match with assessment. and it should match with attainment. So when these things are there, the student can earn credit from wherever learning. Now, important is how learning hours and credits are mapped. Now, this is as per international standard. So, this is how local to national to global that mapping is taking place. Universally, the 1200 learning hours constitute 1 year. So, when we say that a student has completed one academic year, earlier we used to say that student has completed 2 semesters. Now also it will be said. We used to say 180 teaching days. Okay. Along with that, minimum 1200 learning hours. So our academic calendar must show, apart from 2 semesters, 180 teaching days, we have to show learning hours also, and that should validate one academic year. So since we go by our semester system, one semester must have 600 learning hours, and internationally and nationally 1200 learning hours are equivalent to 40 minimum credits, and one semester is equivalent to 600 learning hours or 20 credits. That is how our NEP GR or NEP system says that one semester should have minimum 20 to 22 credits, or 1 year should have 40 to 44 credits. In other words, one semester must have minimum 600 learning hours, and one semester must have minimum 1200 learning hours. So when we calculate learning hours of the student, ensure that every student, our academic calendar, our record shows student has undergone 600 learning hours in a semester. So if semester is of 15 weeks, every week should be of 35 to 40 learning hours, and that record we will have to keep. So when we talk about semester, our learning hours credit should show our academic calendar, weekly academic calendar, semester academic calendar should show that there are minimum 600 learning hours, there are minimum 15 to 18 learning weeks, so minimum 34 to 40 learning hours per week. Now, if you refer to government resolution of probably 4th July or 20th April, which is implemented by all universities to implement NEP, very clearly it is mentioned that per week learning hours should be 35. From where that figure of 35 has come? From where that figure of 20 to 22 credits have come? They have come through this NCRF, which is mapping with global standard. So I repeat, one semester must show 600 learning hours. One semester must show minimum 15 learning weeks. So 1 week must minimum show 35 to 40 learning hours. So our weekly calendar must show that student has undergone minimum 35 to 40 learning hour. That record will be necessary when NAC or NBA will come henceforth. And for for every 30 hours of learning, there is one credit. We many times misunderstand that for theory or tutorial, 15 hours of learning is one credit. No, 15 hours are instructional hours, contact hours. So if a course is of one credit, so in a semester, there will be 15 instructional hours and 15 term work and self-learning hours. So 30 hours will entail one credit. For laboratory also, 30 hours will entail one credit. So suppose there is some course of 3 credit, you will find university will provide 3 hours for theory or tutorial as instructional hours. So in a semester of 15 weeks, there will be 45 learning hours plus 45 term work and self-learning hours. So total there will be 90 learning hours, 90 divided by 30, then it will become a 3 credit course. So you will find if the course is theory and it has provided 4 hours in a week, it will become a 4 credit course. And for practicals, 2 hours in a week will make it a 1 credit course. But semester wise, whether it is theory or practical, 30 hours of learning will become 1 credit course. Now this slide I have taken from accreditation, you can say reforms booklet. Every teacher will be required to keep this table in the course file. Let us come from back side of last column of this side. If the total credits are 4 for a theory subject, multiply by 30. So in a semester, we must show 120 learning hours. As per university scheme, you will find 4 hours per week. So 60 hours will be provided for instructional hours. So another 60 hours we should provide for last but 3 column, that is term work plus self-learning, TW plus SL. Those will be 60. Classroom instruction will be 60. So total will be 120 and course will be of 4 credit. Now for classroom instructional, we have got the record. Our attendance record is there, university syllab is there. But in addition to that, SL hours, that is term work plus self-learning hours record, every teacher will have to keep for their own subject. How that can be done? Students' portfolio file will be the new instrument every teacher will ask the student to prepare. So whatever assignments hours, self-learning hours, flip learning hours, examination hours, so that record for every course student will keep, but at the end, number of credits multiplied by 30, so many learning hours record we have to keep to validate completion of that course. That will only ensure yeah, this was a 4 credit course or 3 credit course. So that record keeping all of us will have to do. That is what individually when we say I am implementing NEP, that we will have to do. So this will be summarized for any undergraduate program. 1 instructional hour per week will be that is 1 credit, that is 30 notional learning hours, 15 instructional, 15 self-learning. For theory, it will become 1 credit. For laboratories, 2 laboratory hours per week will be 1 credit. That is 30 notional hours will be per semester 1 credit. Per semester, there will be minimum 600 notional hours. So credits will be 20 to 22. So for 3 years degree program, minimum 120 to 132 credit, and 4 year 160 to 176. So this is how, as per National Credit Framework, the credits and notional hours for week or for a semester, for a subject or for a course, they are all aligned under this credit framework for any undergraduate program. So let us for this NCRF, to ensure that our learning outcome is attained by our learned, may I give a small assignment? You may submit to your coordinator. Please prepare a teaching learning plan for any 1 semester of your program in this fashion. Please, for your own program, please prepare what is for any 1 semester you take, how many courses are there, what are their course titles, what are their levels. 1 means lowest level, second so the courses will start from 2, third year from 3, fourth year from 4. How many instructional hours are provided, how many term work hours, so what are the total hours and what is the total credit. So this type of table, otherwise also for your accreditation, you will have to prepare this to validate your credit and learning hours. So may I request you to prepare it. And particularly, please get students' portfolio file for term work and self-learning hours per semester. Because for classroom instructional, we have got the record like our assessment record, attendance record. But for term work, hours record we are not used to keep. But henceforth that will have to be kept and student will have to keep that record. And at the end of the semester, along with term work, student will submit that learning hour portfolio file also. And please prepare this table for your own semester and your own subject, you can say. If you are able to do, then we can say that our learning outcome is attained by all learned participants. Again, I will wait for 1 minute if anybody wants to add regarding credit framework or wants to know something from me for NCRF or how credits, learning hours, assessment, learning outcome, attainment of learning outcome, all those things are clubbed together and finally credit framework. It is universal whether we are located at one place or other place, in one university or other university, one state or other state. No, everybody will have to follow same framework. That is the basis for academic bank of credit. So I will wait for 1 minute. If anybody wants to add, anybody wants to know, then we will go for qualification framework. Ankit, should we break for a minute, 5 minutes?
Yeah, sir. We can take the break for 10 minutes and then we can continue.
Okay. Yes, then.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
is it okay? Are we going?
10
Are we
minutes.
going in right track as per expectation of our UGC MMTC? Your expectation?
So actually, the participant is putting messages in the chat box.
Yes.
So
Do you suggest any change for our next session, next 1.5 hour, or it's okay?
So yeah, definitely we can continue after the break of 10 minutes, sir.
And same pattern, okay?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so
On the
let
right
us
track.
take. Yes, okay. Let us break for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So friends, should we start, Ankit?
Yes, sir. We should continue, sir. We can please.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So friends, let us go to our part two, remaining 1.5 hours. I hope the fundamental things about NEP, its journey, its pillar, concepts, credit framework, we have understood. Now, another important framework under which all of us will be operating is qualification framework. It's not that it is the only framework in India we are operating. Even before NEP, we had framework known as National Vocational Education Qualification Framework, NVEQF. Again, it's all about globalization and global standards converting our education system at par with global systems. As per International Labour Organization and various stakeholders of human resource that way market, you can say, particularly for vocational professionals, occupants, it was necessary to standardize their attainment standard levels, educational qualification internationally so that the entrepreneur, the regulators will be able to map with the skills, knowledge of particular qualified person, maybe welder, fitter, or you can say technicians with global standards. From that perspective, in International Labour Organization, Government of India, and other international organizations had made certain framework for vocations. So that framework, NBF, National Vocational Framework, was there. Then National Vocational Education Framework also came into existence. So level-based it was done. Then National Skill Qualification Framework, NSQF, was there. And finally, for higher education also, Higher Education Qualification Framework came into existence. We know for integration of vocational education and other types of education, for increasing access, making equivalency of local qualifications with even with international qualification, certain framework was necessary. From that perspective. NHEQF, mapping with already existing national skills qualification framework, came into existence. So this is very important part of NEP implementation. So when we will start discussing NHEQF, our expected learning outcome will be all the learned participants will not only be able to understand, but will be able to implement level-based, competency-based qualification structure in higher education. I repeat, we are moving towards, or already we have moved towards level-based, mapping with that level competencies and mapping with those competencies qualifications. So level-based, competency-based qualification, that type of structure in higher education. So let us see how it has been implemented. What were the objectives? They are similar to NSQF objectives that they defined for each level the academic standards and learning outcomes. So whole education system is classified into levels, say 1 to 8 level. Earlier, NSQF was 1 to 10, but now NSQF is also brought to 1 to 8 and NHEQF also 1 to 8. 1 to 4 is school education and 4 above is higher education. And for each level, defined academic standards and outcomes are given. Now those are national level standards, so everybody will have to follow those standards, those you can say outcomes for given level. It will enable horizontal and vertical mobility across all disciplines. That is one of the strongest recommendation, that remove the barriers and flexibility, access and equity. So to ensure that mobility, horizontal as well as vertical, from academic to vocational, vocational to academics, and like that, it promotes international comparability and it supports the employability also. So what are the key features? Complete higher education is classified from level 4.5 to 8. Complete education system is classified from 1 to 8. 1 to 4 is school, 4 means 12 or equivalent. For our higher education, 4.5 to 8. So 4.5 means first year of university education system is level 4.5 and PhD is level 8. So 4.5, 5.5, 6.5 like that. Complete system is now level based. For each level, there are clearly well-defined attributes and learning descriptor. So what should be the attribute for a learner who has completed level 4.5? Very well defined. What will be the learning descriptors of that level? Very clearly defined. And with those attributes and descriptor, what will be the qualification? That is also very well defined. So this classification with clear defining attributes, descriptors, and qualification is the key feature. So this helps for multiple entry and multiple exit. Say for example, in higher education, level 4.5 means after a first year of university, means semester 1 plus 2. Once the student clears semester 1 plus 2, then it will be termed as he has cleared level 4.5. So what will happen with that level? Student will have completed 20 credits of first semester, 20 credits of second semester, so minimum 40 credit. And if student prefers to exit, 4 credits internship, apprenticeship or skill courses will be done, and in that student will be issued certificate. So level, attribute and qualification. Similarly for level 5, similarly 5.5. So what we call 3 years degree now will be called as completing level 5.5. So learning, earning total 120 credit. For our 4 years UG program, it will be level 6. Exit will be after 4th year, and credits on will be from minimum 160 to 172. So this is how, whether it is NSQF, that is National Skill Qualification Framework, or whether it is National Higher Education Qualification Framework, these levels are classified, and each level represent different level of skill, complexity, knowledge, and responsibility and autonomy to demonstrate the competency commensurating with that level. So level, competency, and then that qualification. Highest level 8 means PhD, and level 4.5 means first year. So if I combined our credit framework and NHEQF, how it will look like? So every week there has to be minimum 40 learning hours. There has to be minimum 15 weeks in each semester. So there has to be minimum 600 learning hours in one semester. And if the student completes first and second semester, student must have learned 1200 learning hours, must have earned 40 credits. So he will get certificate on exit. Like that, each year, number of semesters, level, learning hours, credits, and qualification. This is how they are mapped. Now, important is for each level, what are the descriptors or attributes, and according to attainment of those attributes or learning, the qualification will be given. So we know level and qualifications, we have seen mapping. Now let us understand for each level what are the attributes or learning outcomes, and when those learning outcomes are attained or attributes have been demonstrated to have attained, then only qualification will be issued. This is important for we the teachers. When we frame the curriculum, when we design the syllabi, or when we discharge the syllabus or assess the student, we have to keep in mind the level, the learning outcome, the descriptors very clearly given, and our responsibility is to validate that student have demonstrated those very clearly stated outcome. Then and then only our credits, our qualifications will be considered to be valid. From that perspective, each teacher, each board of studies member, each member in autonomous colleges should design curriculum and write clearly the attributes, outcomes, and assessment strategies technique should map to demonstrate those outcomes. So what are those? Each level is structured based on defined learning outcomes. What are those outcomes? Those are the statements. What the learner will be expected to know, understand, will be able to do on successful completion of that level of the program. So student must have demonstrated those attributes through our assessment in terms of their outcome. Then and then their credits, their qualification will be considered to be valid. This is what will be accreditation. This is what will be the audit in future. Important statement is this attribute, those outcomes, student can acquire through any mode of learning. So direct in-person, face-to-face instruction, open, distance, online, blended, flip, mode of learning is not important. Attainment of outcome is important. This is the basic principle. That is why even if student earns something through Swayam, or students learn something online, or students learn something through blended, it will be the assessment and demonstration of outcome which is important. Whether student has learned from my class or from online, it will not matter. That is why in NEP 40% of credit earning on Swayam-like platform is permitted. Even if student does not attend my class, but does certain course of that particular level on Swayam or online or open distance mode, it is okay, provided assessment shows that students have demonstrated attainment. Now, from that perspective, for each level, what are the attributes and outcome? What are those statements? Those are important. So let us understand and frame qualification descriptors for each level. Friends, remember, it is level for that level, very well specified attributes and expected outcome. Once those outcomes are demonstrated, then student will get qualification provided so many learning hours and credits are earned. We are switching over towards that type of system. So for each level, what are the attributes? Let us understand. Now, one line, let me tell you how it is mapped with global standards. In the world, there are various, you can say, frameworks. India has aligned with European Union framework. So those are known as Dublin parameters. And India's parameters are national parameters, definitely our parameters. But you will find that our qualification framework and our parameters, they are mapped globally, internationally towards European Union's descriptors. So Dublin parameters, Bolino process, we have adopted in our framing NHEQF. That is how we are getting aligned with global standard also. So now how are those statements? What are those parameters? Those parameters are given in 5 classes. First class is about professional theoretical knowledge. So very clearly for each level, what breadth, what depth of professional subject theoretical knowledge is expected. That is very clearly defined for each level that we will see in next slide. Second is skills and expertise. What level of skilling, training is expected in psychomotor domain for each level. For 4.5 level, what is the expected skill level? For level 5, what is the expected skill level? For level 6.5, what is the expected? So those statements are very clearly given for skilling domain also. Similarly, third domain is affective domain, behavior domain. Similarly, aptitude, what type of aptitude student is expected to show, employment readiness, what job level of job, whether it will be skilled worker, whether it will be supervisor level, whether it will be managerial level, whether will it be higher level, whether it will be a scientist level, whether it will be MD level. So depending upon the qualification, the future job role, and for that job role, what is the behavioral or readiness is expected, that is also very clearly given level of responsibility with that level, that is also specified. So let us check what comes under each of these domain. In theoretical knowledge, it will be given for each level what a learner should know and understand regarding subject and field. It will be described in terms of depth, breadth, kind of knowledge and complexity. We have to understand it very clearly, because if I am framing curriculum for first year, level 4.5, as per the NHEQF, what depth is expected, what breadth is expected. Only to that extent my first semester syllabus should be there. What is expected in second year, to that extent only it should be given. It can be general, specialized. So this type of thing for knowledge, some statements are very clearly given. In case of professional technical skills, what the learner should be able to do, capacities and competencies, level based capacities and competencies. So cognitive creative skills, communication skills, interpersonal skills, basic skills involving use of method, material, tool, instrument. What is expected in level 4.5, that is first year. Whether advanced tools are expected, whether advanced methods are expected, or whether basic tools are expected, those are very clearly given. And that extent only we have to practice in our curriculum, in our regular teaching, whatever is given in case of psychomotor domain also. Similarly, for soft skills, behavioral skills, broad learning outcome, and more important, fifth parameter is level of responsibility. Suppose a student is of level 4.5, that is what we call it as first year presently, and student goes out of first year, after first year, he will get certificate. So what responsibility that certificate level is expected, and we have to demonstrate that during that one first year, we have shown, we have ensured that student has demonstrated those ability of a degree of supervision over others, or level at which learner can supervise others. So what level of responsibility student will student have demonstrated, what accountability for action student have demonstrated, whether student has shown ability for managing change, to what extent. So as per the very clear statement, the student is expected to show, demonstrate, and we are expected to assess, and according to that only our assessment system, syllabus and curriculum has to be there. So let us see if it is knowledge domain. So we know it is classified in 5 parts. About theoretical professional knowledge, what we call it as cognitive domain. We know 6 levels. So if it is level 4.5, even though element of descriptor is same, cognitive, that is knowledge and understanding, if the student is of first year, that is first semester and second semester, that is level 4.5, very clearly NHQF prescribed what the student of certificate or first year should be able. It should be able to demonstrate knowledge of fact, concept, principle, theory, processes in broad multidisciplinary learning context within the chosen field of learning. Suppose after 12, see, early specialization will not be there. When NEP will be implemented in school, we will not have art student, commerce student, and science students after 10 specialization. No, we will have students of level 4 with basket of courses they have done, and specialization will start only at level 4.5, that too in the broad learning areas like science, engineering, arts, or commerce, or humanities. And in that also, in broad chosen field, there will be multidisciplinary courses. And in level 4.5, that is first and second semester, it should be only, it should not go in depth. It should not be very broad. Depth should not be there, but exposure to various discipline in the chosen field has to be given for level 4.5. So when curriculum of first year is decided, when level 4.5 curriculum is to be done, syllabus to be prepared, it will tell about chosen field of learning. So arts, commerce, humanities, but in that there will be 2 to 3 various disciplines, subjects of that chosen field. So the student will get the canvas of various disciplines in a chosen field of learning in first year. Now, if the student comes to second year, does not prefer to exit, which we don't want, then in semester at the after second semester, now student will be taken into deeper knowledge and understanding of one of the learning areas. Earlier, the student has chosen field of learning and 2 3 subjects. Out of that, now student will select depending upon the passion, interest as one field, what we now call it as major and minor. And then at third semesters onward, we have to take student into deeper for knowledge and understanding, both descriptive knowledge as well as procedural knowledge. But now we will be taken into depth for the subject, what we call it as major. Now, if the student comes to third year, that is, student does not exit after second year, that is level 5 with diploma, but prefers to enter to third year, that is level for 5.5. In that case, in third year, knowledge of current and emerging issues and development in that chosen field of learning. Now, advancement will be taught at third year level, and fourth year will be research-based learning. More advances apart from emerging, advancement will start in fourth year. So first year basic, second year deeper, third year current and emerging issue, fourth year advanced and research-based learning. This is how the curriculum is expected to be designed for both descriptive knowledge as well as procedural knowledge. This is what is expected in knowledge domain. When we come to psychomotor domain, level based. Now, domain is psychomotor, that is use of knowledge, application of knowledge. But so we can say that experiential learning, practicals. So, how those curriculum syllabus and syllabus implementation and assessment should happen? If the student is of first year, that is level 4.5, that is semester 1 and 2, how should I design my practicals, etc.? There, it is expected that student should be able to apply acquired operational or technical or theoretical knowledge to select and use basic methods, tools, material, and information to specific problem. So our practicals will be provided with specific problem. Student will be told basic methods. They will be made expertise in handling tools, material, and information, and they should be able to find solution for a specific problem. So this is how our first year practicals, our first year experiential learnings, field visits, community work. So they should be limited to this level only. This is what is expected out of first year experiential learning, psychomotor domain, training, skilling. If the student comes to second year, that is level 5, that is semester 3 and 4. So specific this they have to do, selecting, applying basic things, etc. But now, along with that, students should be able to gather quantitative and qualitative data of the specialized knowledge also. Now, the range is increased. Only using the skill, demonstrating expertise in handling basic methods, that will not be sufficient anymore. Now, the student will be able to gather quantitative as well as qualitative data. So, analytical, critical skills, ability for data analysis will be required in third semester and fourth semester. Now, when the student comes to third year, this is what already using of tools, getting the data, quantitative, qualitative, but along with that, the student is expected to assess the appropriateness of different approaches. Only one method of solving student will not be sufficient to use only one method. A student for a given problem, there are multiple ways of solving. And all of those multiple ways, what is the most appropriate for a given situation and for a given specific problem? That type of skilling is expected from third year student. So they should be able to employ right approach to generate solutions for related to field problem, not only specific problem. And in fourth year, students should be able to apply advanced and research skills to generate the solutions, find new solutions, and find new methods, new tools. So when I have got my first year practicals, if I am a teacher of first year, probably I will provide all tools, procedures, methods, demonstration, how to perform. I will expect students to do the same thing number of times and they will do it professionally and whatever is told to them. This is what will be expected from first year and that is what will be assessed in their assessment or examination. For second year, I may not provide all tools for a, I will only provide laboratory and ask student use a proper tool and for a specific problem is given. So you select some proper method, you select certain tools and find out quantitative and qualitative analytical data. This is what will be my second year practical. For third year practicals, I will make you a specific or problem related to field and I will ask student to use number of methods and they should find out which is the best method for a given problem and they should use proper technique and they should come out with the solution. And for fourth year, they should be able to use advanced method, research-based approach to find new solutions, new methods, new techniques to for a given problem. So this is how my experiential learning, psychomotor domain, laboratories, my field related projects, they should change. Approach will change if the student is of first year, second year, third year, or fourth year. if the student is of level 4.5, 5 or 5.5 or 6. And I will have to demonstrate that depending upon the level, I have helped student to imbibe competencies and skilled mapping with that level. This is the proof, this is the validation. So my credits, so my qualification like certificate, diploma, degree, or fourth year degree, they get validated. That is how my credits of that level. Presently, we are simply putting those credit in academic bank, and presently everybody is accepting that level qualification and credit. But tomorrow, if there is audit, our qualification, what we call diploma or second year, that audit team may say, no, no, your all things shows it is of first year or certificate level in outcomes. Then what we call as second year, they may say that no, it is of level first year. Then what will happen to the system? So accountability, that pillar. So we as a teacher, for us, in my opinion, NEP is more important to understand level based expected competencies, demonstrated competencies, and credit of that level and qualification of that level. We should understand it clearly. Similarly, these are the skills for all, you can say psychomotor domain only. I will not read it, you can read it. Third domain also, or affective domain also, we have to understand. Here, it is about behavior, then value system, ethics, sense of responsibility. See, we are preparing students for their future job roles. So certificate level, probably we may be preparing student for some skill job level, for diploma supervisor level, for degree managerial level, for fourth year higher than group managerial level, for PG and research, maybe scientists and still higher level people. So we are preparing students for their future job role. So depend a skilled worker responsibility is definitely lower than a supervisor level. Supervisor level is definitely having less than manager. Manager, group manager may have a bigger responsibility. But when those attributes are embedded in my student, that we have to demonstrate through our curriculum, syllabus, delivery of syllabus, and most importantly, our assessment. So probably most important part for our accreditation will be how do we assess student, whether we ensure, validate that students have demonstrated the attainment of expected outcome. So for behavior, you can say value system. What is expected here? Say suppose a student is of level 4.5. What is expected is the student will perform effectively in a defined job related to chosen field. But if the student is of, you can say, diploma, that is level 5 or past semester 1, 2, 3, 4, then student should be able to show that student will be able to exercise self-management within the guidelines. So they will supervise written work of others also because he is a supervisor. Now, if the student is of 3 years degree, what we call it as diploma, or in case of engineering, BVoc degree or BSc work degree they will get. So 3 years student will also get a degree. It will be BSc work degree or BVoc degree. There, the student is expected to show that student is able to exercise management and supervision in context of work or study involving unpredictable work processes and unpredictable working environment also. So they should be able to take up professional job. This is what will be expected. Their constitutional, humanistics, and moral values, that also will change depending upon 4.5, 5.5, or 6. In case of certificate holder, it is expected that our assessment shows that students have shown achievement, that they are able to put forward convincing argument to respond ethical and moral issues. For second year, the student have shown ability to embrace constitutional ethical values as well as take positions and formulate new argument in support of action. While for third year student, that is BSc work student or 3 years degree, along with embracing constitutional, human, ethical, moral values, they are able to identify the ethical values, formulate coherent argument, follow ethical practices, both in physical age as well as in cyber age, in both sphere, physical sphere of life, cyber age. So this is what, and it has to be demonstrated through, say, assignment, regular practicals, cultural programs, sports program, and criteria-based, rubrics-based assessment for each of the activity where we are giving credits. So some rubric-based, criteria-based assessment record for individual student. That is why I say that students' portfolio file will be important document to be kept by all teachers henceforth, because for this third domain which is made mandatory, how will you show that students have demonstrated the attainment as expected in NHEQF, which are the very clear, these statements are given publicly. If nutshell, if I compare level versus descriptor, you will find for certificate level, that is first year, first and second semester, knowledge basic concept principle. For diploma, that is 4 semester student, broader theoretical and understanding of deeper in one area, what we call it as mature. For 3 years completion course student, comprehensive and specialized knowledge with emerging trend. For 4 years, like our BE, advanced research-based knowledge depth in specialized field. Similarly, for skills, first year student certificate they will get if they leave basic cognitive technical for defined task. For second year diploma, moderate level cognitive and synthesizing it. For third year, evaluating and solving complex problem and higher order skill. And for fourth year, independent research, renovation, complex-based problem solving. This is what will be expected in each of the domain. Now, I have specially prepared this table from what are the elements of descriptor and what are the very clearly expected learning outcome statement for each of the descriptor. Now, it is NHEQF public document, and it is the guiding for we, those who frame curriculum, those who prepare syllabi, those who discharge syllabi, those who assess, examine or evaluate student and validate, and ultimately, according to the level, the expected competencies as per these outcomes, if they are achieved, if the student demonstrate the achievement, then only credits and qualifications are to be awarded. And this is what is the accountability on us. So very clear cut differentiators level based are there. Level 4.5 is foundational knowledge. Level 5 is intermediate skill. 5.5 is research informed decision making. Level 6 is advanced level integrating research and depth in a field. This is what are the key differentiator which should be reflected in curriculum, in syllabus, in our regular teaching pedagogies and methods, and our assessment and examination. So if how ultimately when some audit team comes, when accreditation team comes, how it will be reflected? Batches have passed out. So how you will prove, validate that we have done as per level base. So that will be decided on your assessment papers, assessment or examination papers. See, for university examination, we can say that, okay, it is university, but we know that internal assessment has been increased from 20% to 40%. The weightage of external examination has been reduced from 80 to 60. I will not be surprised if tomorrow it becomes 50-50. So we will be accountable for internal assessment. So if I am a teacher of first year, that is level 4.5, my assessment papers, it should be more of formative, less of summative, more weightage on continuous assessment and formative assessment. But my assessment should show I have used in for knowledge domains, theory subjects particularly, that I have used remember, understand, and apply. So these three levels. So few questions on memory, define, identify. More questions on understanding, explain, describe. But some definite question on application, that is use, select, demonstrate. My assessment of any subject, if I am a first year teacher, first semester and second semester, my assessment paper must show I have used these words. I am teaching some subject of second year, that is semester 3 and 4, that is level 5. Then my basic, I should not have anything on memorizing. But my thrust is on understanding, more on application and some of analysis. So I should not have more questions or minimum questions, or better no question on define, list, identify. So which requires memory. Please don't use questions on that. But yes, explain, describe, classify some questions. More on differentiate, apply, use, summarize, analyze, explain, why, compute. So this type of verbs should be used in assessment. Then it will be considered that yes, I have tested for level 5. If I am third year teacher, my focus will be no on memorizing, little, very little on understanding, but more on apply, analyze, and evaluate. So my question should be little bit on something like explain few questions, but more on classify, differentiate, use, and more focus on analyze, design, justify, critique, differentiate, estimate, evaluate. Because these verbs show that I am operating at the Bloom's level of apply, analyze, evaluate. Similarly, sixth level is analyzing and synthesizing. So formulate, analyze, synthesize, design. So more questions should be on those using those action verbs. My these assessment papers, assessment tools. So what is important? I must show that I had more of continuous assessment. I have more of formative assessment, less on summative assessment. And depending upon the year or level, I have even focus on from remembering to synthesizing. If I am first year, my focus was understanding, applying. If I am second year, my more focus was on applying, analyzing. If I am a third year teacher, my focus was on applying, analyzing, evaluating. And if I am final year teacher, then more of analyzing, evaluating, project and synthesis. So that should be seen. Then it will be seen that we have really implemented NHEQF and NEP. And this is at teachers level. For that, university or government or nobody comes into picture. It is individual teacher who have to plan and make the classroom and practicals according to this. So what is expected if it is first year to summarizing? I have given for level 4.5 what is expected. I am given for both. You can say cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, and behavior domain. What is expected for from first year? I have summarized it. I have summarized it for level 5 also. From whatever discussion we had, may I ask the learned participant, please write qualification descriptors for level 5.5 of your own program. What is, please write it for your own. Don't take this assignment as something I am asking you to do. I am just giving you because this is what you will be required to do when accreditation, let it be NAC or let it be NBA or let it be any audit team, which will validate our internal assessment, particularly credits given at college level. Tomorrow, definitely, since those credits are going at national level academic bank of credit, so sometime or other that validity exercise will be undertaken. That time, if we clearly know for each level what are the descriptors given in NHEQA, nobody of us will be in any problem. Confidently, we will be providing what is expected out of it. So I repeat, please go through this expected for each level, and I have prepared on that from that table only for level 4.5 and level 5. Similarly, using these things, please write for your own satisfaction and your own learning descriptors for level 4, 5.5 of your own program. Now, we will wait for 1 minute. If anybody has got any doubt about either NCRF or NHEQF or anything more to tell, because all are learned participants, they are practicing it. So your expertise, your knowledge will be helpful to me and all others also. So 1 minute we will keep if anybody wants to add, or else we will go to our last session.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, myself, Dr. KP Adia from SSBT Jalgaon.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I want to ask one question. Sir, when we are
Yes.
applying all those Bloom's level, remember,
Yes, sir.
understand, apply. So what do you think up to what level it can be applied practically in our classes? Because we are having the
Sir,
varieties of the students,
yes.
higher level, mid level. So
Yes.
many times it become very difficult to generate the questions with the higher level they were considering all those practical
You
scenario.
are very right, sir. So first thing, what I have practiced,
Mhm.
and wherever I am, some in some capacity I am attached with various engineering colleges. What we have done, I will just share that practice with you.
Okay, sir.
First thing, what we do, sir, every year, we do KYS square. That is, know your student and know your subject. That exercise is mandatory for every teacher to be done beginning of the level. How do we
Okay.
do it? Every year you may get a different heterogeneous groups, sir. Sometimes number of so-called good student is more, sometimes so-called average student is more. So
Mhm.
that variation will do happen because we do not have any control on admissions. Our
Mhm.
main aim is to fill the admission.
Yes,
But
yes.
a teacher must know the audience before he enters the class. Students should not know that they have been analyzed for every batch before the classes start. We have taken certain parameters to understand. Say 10th physics maths mark, 12th physics maths for first year I am saying. CET score, in CET score particularly physics and maths and chemistry mark. And this is what we generally, then their rural background, urban background, then convent educated or vernacular medium
So you
educated.
meant to say we have to make the categories of the students depending on their
Yes,
all the.
so I am saying we are not not for discriminating,
Mhm.
just to know your student,
Okay, okay.
and that should not be known to the student that they have been classified like this. That integrity everybody will have to follow. Similarly,
Mhm.
every teacher should make a list of know your subject in the sense we feel that student has passed 12th standard, so certain things of physics, chemistry, mathematics they already know, and we start our subject. Suppose I am a teacher of say fluid mechanics, I am taking one common subject which is common to mechanical, civil, chemical, many branches, that mechanics subject is there. Say first year everybody learns, has to learn some mechanics. So I understand fundamentally that students know what is force, what is energy, what is Newton's law, what is the difference between statics, dynamics, what is the difference between material, what solid is, what liquid is, what is fluid, what is different between liquid and fluid. We presume that students know it. I always tell that please take out such scientific and technical terms like viscosity, density. We presume that they are so basic, everybody knows it. I ask teachers to please make out those scientific and technical terms which we easily use, presuming that students know. And in first lecture, take small 10-15 minutes, some interesting test sort of a thing, not to bother the student, just to understand some questions of standard level 8 standard, some questions of level 10, and some questions of level 12. Very simple questions, some sort of a fun, some sort of a quiz, some sort of that type of environment should be there. And then we come to know to what extent they have really retained or forgotten the concept which we try to tell. This also helps for first year to understand slow learner and fast learner also. Then sometimes we observe that some students are very good in laboratory hours, very active, but in theory they are not there. So now, knowing their prior learning, recognizing their prior learning, and learning their abilities. Some students understand very good when we lecture. Some students understand very good when we write. Some students understand if you repeatedly, if some videos are given. Please prepare small videos of prerequisite part. Don't waste your time of regular classes in giving prerequisite. But every teacher, in my opinion, maximum 10 minutes video, not more than 10 minutes. Because capacity of listening to more than 10 minutes is not there in this generation. But they are techno savvy. If we make some interesting small videos of concept fundamental and at the end put some questions, and student will have to submit answers of those questions essentially before they enter. That exercise helps to enhance the interest and enhance the learning. This is what we have practiced. Probably that may help us. Now, whether we like it, whether our students are not or there or not, but it is a national mandate that our first year has to be of level 4.5, which more of understanding and application based assessment has to be done. There is no choice. We are bound by that framework. So keep your regular assessment, continuous assessment. We can use little bit of our laboratory hours also, so that students are given before examination, before internal, some quiz, some questions, or peer learning, some assignment, which we use those words of understanding and application in assignments also, in term work also, in practicals also. We have got flexibility to modify little bit practicals. 30% practical flexibility is expected. University may give us the list of practicals, but in that 30%, we have got liberty to make it innovative. So depending upon the students, do not make everything compulsory for every student. Try to use that flexibility so that even so-called earlier weak student, they slightly come up, they have to rise the level. While higher level fast learner will not lose the interest. So that is the acumen. And that is only one way is there, sir. Use new teaching pedagogies, use flipped learning, use Padlet walls, use IT-enabled techniques, because this generation is very, good for technology. Everybody is having, you can say, mobile.
Yes,
So
yes.
use that tool. So I can name you 20, 30 tools, very easy, freely available. Padlet wall is one of the best tools we can use. So there, I will not, but if required, I will give you complete what is there in flipped learning, what is there, what are IT-enabled tools, how Padlet can be used, how those are various IT tools which are to be effectively used. So please try to use so that their engagement beyond class is more, and effectively we can use our classroom hours. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to match syllabus to take all students. Only way is use IT-enabled tools, new teaching pedagogies to new teaching strategies and new teaching tools. Similarly, for assessment also, peer assessment tools, quizzes, wonderful fastest finger what Amitabh Bachchan takes in Kaun Banega Karodpati, that those type of tools are available and they are free tools. So those things a teacher will have to use depending upon the subject, depending upon the class, depending upon the heterogeneity, what suits what. We have to optimize everything now. That is the only way we can do. This is my personal experience. Thank you, sir, for your very
Oh,
nice
yes. Thank you,
issue,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hmm.
Should I go ahead, sir?
No problem, sir. Please continue.
So now let us come to now finally. See, now what is the vision statement? What is envisioned in policy? With our previous discussion, you will find now implementation NEP part has come. See, what the vision of NEP is. Education will enable individuals. See, right the beginning I am saying personalized learning, individual learning. So vision talks about individual to study one or more specialized area of interest at deep level, major, minor. So in first year, give 2, 3 subjects. Out of that, one will become major, and you have to, that will be the area of interest subject. Take that student into deep. Similarly, develop human values, ethical values, character building. Then 21st century skills along various disciplines, some science, some social science, professional, ethical. This is the vision statement of education. On this vision and our previous discussion, you will find our courses as envisioned in NEP and as given in our GR. Now you will find all domains, that is vertical, you will find they contain 3 domains. One is cognitive knowledge-based courses, descriptive procedural, then training skilling-based courses, and value ethics, disposition, attitude, behavior. So all 3 domains are covered in those verticals. So what they call it program is the learning area of interest. Some students science after 12th they will classify up to 12th. Probably there will not be classification. There will not be student from science, commerce, which will come into university system. Students will come with basket of courses, and then at first year university level they will choose area of interest. Among that area they will choose the discipline: physics, economics, computer, civil, mechanical. Amongst that, after, from third semester, they will finalize it as one area in which they will be taken into deep, what they will call it as major. There will be multidisciplinaries, so minor, along with making it more multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary, there will be provision of open elective so that engineering student, if interested, can learn music, can interested may learn some linguistic, may learn some history, or may learn some different area but other than his faculty area. This is for domain cognitive. For skills domain, there will be subjects like you can say vocational skilling, training, internship, field project, life skills, communication skills. So psychomotor domain, skilling, and you can say training. So vocational skilling, life skilling, communication skilling, internship, experiential learning, field project, community engagement and service. So this is what will be mandatorily for every course. And there will be courses on behavior, attitude in the form of, say, you can say that some IKS or universal human value or constitutional value or some value education, either course or some festival, some co-curricular. There will not be anything like extracurricular. Everything will be co-curricular, but of third domain of behavior and value domain. So if you see the verticals, you will find it takes care of all domains like cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domain. You will find it is made multidisciplinary. Some ability enhancement courses are added. You will find integration of academic education with vocational education. So whatever is envisioned, that is converted into, you can say, the application part through GR, through verticals. Now you will find the verticals, major, minor, courses on Indian knowledge, internships of vocational skill environment, experiential learning, on multidisciplinary ability enhancement courses, languages, provision for, you can say, online open learning, so provision of 40% courses through SWAYAM. There is nothing like extracurricular. Social engagement, community engagement has been made mandatory. Community engagement and service is now the part of definition of college and university. Earlier, college and university, which is called as higher education institution HEI, were places of higher learning and research. Now, if you see the NEP, HEI, that is university and college, those are the places of higher learning, research, and community engagement and services. So purpose of HEI, existence of HEI has one arm of community engagement service. No teacher, no student can claim that if he is a stakeholder of HEI, community engagement service is essential part of duty. So whether it is recruitment, promotion, caste, you will find component of, along with higher learning research, there will be component of community and engagement and service. This is how NEP is to be read. So depending, so you will find our framework given by our GR exactly match with what we have discussed up till now. So if you will find level based, semester based distribution of courses, major, minor, OE, so they are all domain and level based. You will find courses out as you cross the level, you will find components go on changing. So this is exactly mapping with credit framework, NHEQF framework, vision of NEP converted into practice or application for us to implement through GR. So exactly this is what NEP is reflected into. Now finally, let us understand something very briefly, outcome-based education. Friends, I repeat one sentence. NEP implementation means journey from local to global through national. So all global norms, global standard, global practices, global benchmarks, that will come to every college in the, this is our journey. And to make it national, there are frameworks. Finally, through NEP, it is not change of system, it is transformation of system from earlier year-based system, earlier the isolated, fragmented system. We are going towards level-based competencies, level-based competency-based qualifications. So qualification will based on the competencies, and competencies will be mapped with the level of study. And finally, everything will go towards outcome-based education. So accountability pillar, this is what is very important finally for we the teacher. Please understand two lines. We are going toward level-based, competency-based qualification, and we are moving towards outcome-based education only. So our accountability will be judged on these two statements. So let us briefly understand what this outcome-based system is. We will not be able to go into detail, but our NAC or NBA accreditation henceforth will be based on concept and features of outcome-based education only. So let us try to understand it. So first thing in outcome-based education, it is all about performance. It is not about the process. The student कसा शिकला, ऑनलाईन शिकला, वर्गात शिकला की ऑफलाईन शिकला, how the student has learned, what the process has followed is not important. It's all about what is the performance, what competencies the students have demonstrated. So for that, there has to be a performer. So we are going towards learner-centric system, not the facilitator. Teacher will be facilitator. Focus will be performer because it's all about performance. And there has to be something performable, demonstrable, accessible. So desiring outcomes is the first thing, and demonstration of attainment of outcome is what will be performable things. So focus will be on performance, not on activity or process. This is what is the first principle. Second principle, there will be objective based. So program educational objectives have to be there. So complete system will be learning outcome based curriculum framework, LOCF. So first thing will be there will be program educational objectives. What are those generally? We are preparing the student for their future job roles. So identify explicitly what the student are expected to do when they leave the college, when they are in active economic life. If I am a civil engineering discipline teacher, first I have to see what a civil engineer will have to do after 6, 7 years. Write down those statements that my student will be able to show these 3, 4 things when they will pass. So this is what every university, every institution for that matter, every teacher will have to write. When I conduct certain course, through that inputs, through that acquiring skills, my student will be able to show these two competencies after 6, 7 years. That is when the student is in the progress, after passing out, after the living, when the student is living full and productive life. Those 2, 3 statements we have to clearly make. That is the first thing, and that is called as program educational objectives, and it is to be made for their career and professional life, which they are expected to show attainment after few years of graduation. Reason? Mandate is to prepare. We must prepare the student for their future role. So state what role they will perform. So that is, now help is, NAC has given certain POs, NBA has given certain POs, AICT has given program-wise POs, UGC has given. So we can take help of them depending upon local situation where we are located. We may be preparing students for particular objectives. Our mission may be different. But what, depending upon our mission, vision of the institute, of the university, taking, you can say, clue from what is provided by AICT, NBA, we have to state our own PEOs. That is the first thing we have to do. Then comes POs. Now, depending upon all three domains, cognitive, psychomotor, and affective, you will find that 12, 13 POs are already stated by UGC, AICTE, NAC, and NBA. So we don't have to do much. We have to adopt those 12, 13 POs for our program. What is the difference between PEO and PO? PEO are some competencies which students are expected to demonstrate after graduating. In their professional life, they have to demonstrate. And POs at the time of graduating, when they will take degree after passing 8 semester, at that time, what will be the attributes? And those attributes, you will find they relate with competencies which are embedded in the student. The clue is very clear. NBA has given, NAC has given, those POs are already been stated for various programs. They have given the guideline, and we are to adopt those POs only just to suit our program. Few words here and there, but you will find if you analyze those POs, you will find they are nothing but competencies in three domains of knowledge, skills, and behavior. So these three domains, their levels and competencies, they prepare 12 POs. So we have to very clearly write POs also. After POs, for our specific program, some narrow statement regarding our specialization, we have to write at the time of graduation. When it is not after when the student go into profession, no, along with program outcome for our specific program, there will be certain outcomes. So they are called as program specific out 2 or 3 statements. Again, we can get guidelines or hint or clues from AICT or from, if you see the exam reforms of AICT, for many courses, they have prepared this very clearly. For UGC related, if you go to LOCF document, you will find UGC has provided through LOCF POs, and PSOs of various programs, chemistry, physics. AICT has given for various engineering programs. So we can take clue. But for our own institution, for our own department, for our own program, we have to very clearly state 2, 3 PSOs also. And when we are clear about PEOs, when we are clear about POs, when we are clear about PSOs, on that basis, there are say 40 courses which we teach during 4 years. Say for each course, why that we teach that course. So what is that outcome we are expecting? Now here, if they are cognitive courses, ensure that depending upon level, if it is first year, we may write after learning this course, student will be able to understand. So 3, 4 times you can use the word understand, and at one time student will be able to apply. But please do not write student will be able to remember laws. Don't write that, cannot be the outcome of any course. Yes, student will be able to understand, will be understand 2, 3 concepts, or may be able to use that. So for first year, that is first, second semester, this will be okay. But if you are making COs for second year, see the Bloom's taxonomy. Try to use less, you understand, more apply, 1 or 2 analyze. If it is third year, try to use more applications, few more apply, and little bit of analysis also. And for fourth year, something may not be synthesized. They may be for PhD or postgraduate, but use proper taxonomy and write down it clearly for your own course. One thing is university gives us CO, but if we individual teacher feels, no, I have got something more, depending upon the batch I want to change, please feel free and tell accreditation team, these are COs given by university, but for my batch, these are 2 additional COs I have prepared. And this is what I will test my student. This is now along with COs, please write down your every unit, every module has got 3 or 4 bits. For each bit, you write down some learning outcomes, bit learning outcomes, you may call it. From that, bit learning outcomes will become unit learning outcome or module outcome. And all module outcomes together will become those course outcome. So university may give us COs, but what is the role of teacher? Is that suppose I am planning to teach my unit 1 or module 1. Each module has got 2, 3 related but distinct bits. 2, 3 bits make one module. So for each bit, which I may teach for 2 to 3 hours, so I should write it. This is what is my expected learning outcome of that bit. It says 8, 9 expected bit outcome will make your one module outcome. And all module outcomes together will make you the course outcome. So when we make our course file, when I prepare for any course, please divide your course into modules, which generally university does, module into bit, and write down outcomes, expected learning outcome for each bit. And at the end of that bit, please have some assessment, maybe quiz, maybe small assignment. If students are not able to answer, give some remedial things to them. But ensure that students demonstrate attainment of bit outcome. When bit outcome attainment are shown, then you can claim it is the outcome of module. When module or unit outcome is shown, you can claim that it is course outcome. When course outcomes you are shown from bit to course, you can show that it is program outcome. So mapping of course outcome with program outcome begins from bit outcome. So this is what is the implementation of outcome-based education by every teacher. And for that teaching learning activities, the set of pedagogical tools and techniques are to be used. Our traditional method of lecturing will vastly get supplemented with activities and tools. Please be aware of various teaching strategies and tools, because for every vertical, for every unit, or probably every bit, sometimes you may need flipped, sometimes you may need experiential, sometimes you may need IT enabled, sometimes you may need, you can say, video sharing, sometimes you may need lecturing, sometimes you may need field. We do not know which tool, which strategy, which technique is appropriate for appropriate curriculum. And doing that is what will be expected in accreditation. So please, my request is, please, lot many material through UGC and AICT are already available. Instruments on teaching tools, techniques are available. IT-enabled teachings, lot many things are made available. Assessment and exam reforms, those documents are made available by UGC and AICT. Now time has come that we go to those documents and try to implement, because it is about performance and performer, or to ensure performance is shown, one single practice will not be useful. So intended learning outcome and engagement, experiential learning, bringing experiences in the class. Sometimes POP will be required, sometimes industrial professional. There are many things which we cannot show for PO. Suppose safety security is the one of the important PO of NEC and NBA, particularly for engineering. We cannot show them the situation when there is fire hazard in the industry. We cannot show what are the compliances to be made by the industry every month to the statutory body. Those are not in curriculum, but in PO it is expected. An engineer going to profession is expected to be aware of safety norms, safety hazards, safety practices, industrial compliances. What are the norms, statutory norms to be followed, which are not in our classroom. But now NEP expects either give experience to the student to internship, apprenticeship, field visit, or bring experiences in the form of professional practitioners to the class. But experiential learning is the key word. IT-enabled teaching, IT tools and strategies, and assessment, various tools, practices, criteria-based assessment, formative assessment, then rubrics-based assessment. Those should be reflected in our whatever is applicable, whatever topic is there, whatever subject we are teaching. So depending upon that, but these things, use of this thing is what is implementation of NEP, and this is what is accreditation. So assessment will be most important portfolio of teachers. So when NAC or audit team may come, they will more focus on our techniques of assessment. Are we using summative assessment or formative assessment? Are we using continuous assessment? What is the thrust on examination? Are we assessed on level-based assessment? What are the teaching assessment tools we are using? What are the expected outcomes made known to the student and student demonstrating those, you can say, attainment of those outcomes? This is what will be. So how will each learning outcome be assessed? What evidence we are able to show that students have shown the attainment of those outcomes? So assessment is the key part of outcome-based education that will determine whether qualification descriptors have been achieved or not. So please, my sincere request is, please go through various assessment tools, techniques, methods, criteria-based, rubrics-based, project-based, formative. So please get aware of those things, because when audit will be done, assessment will be the fundamental thing to validate attainment of attributes and qualification descriptors. Only assessment will prove that yes, students have demonstrated. That is why we had given the credit. That is how students have achieved the qualification. Level-based competencies, validation through assessment will lead to the qualification, and this is what will be the future assessment. So concurrent internal evaluation, comprehensive concurrent evaluation, ILO's intended learning outcomes, means bitwise outcome is called as ILO, intended learning outcome. Intended learning outcome combinedly makes module or unit outcome. Unit outcomes combinedly make course outcome. Course outcomes get mapped with competencies achieved demonstrated. Competencies achieved or demonstrated gets mapped with PO attainment. So this is the cycle, and this documentation, execution, conceptualization is in true sense implementation of NEP at the teacher level. So my last exercise is, friends, can you identify your intended learning outcome of your own course? So please divide your course into units, which generally university does, units or modules. Divide that unit into bits, and for each bit, very clearly specify intended learning outcome and method of assessment to validate attainment of those intended learning outcome. If that fundamental thing you are able to do, your mapping of ILO with CO, CO with competencies, and competencies with BO will be done. It otherwise, that will be the jargon where teachers will struggle ultimately in coming, whether it is NAC or NBA. It will be the mapping of ILO with CO, CO with competencies, competencies with PO. This is what will be expected from a teacher. This is what for which a teacher will be responsible for accreditation. I think I will stop exactly. Our 3 hours are over. So Ankit, if anybody has got any question or wants to add, most welcome. Or I think we should stop as our time is over. So finally, I express my sincere thanks to all learned participants first, then to Ankit, then the management principal of our College of Engineering Technology, Bombay, then our Dr. Atik sir, Director of UGC MMTC, Registrar, Pro Vice Chancellor and Vice Chancellor, and to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for a
Yes.
deeper understanding towards this NEP concept and the different frameworks. Participant, we have taken the question meanwhile also, but rather than if you have any questions or the queries, you can directly ask to Professor Marathe sir. Either what can I do? Yeah, Dr. Rajesh sir, is there any query? Or what can I do? I will share the contact details of Professor Marathe sir in our WhatsApp group. You can directly
Yes.
approach to Marathe sir so that yeah, you can resolve your queries.
Yes, even share those PPT, etc. also, Ankit, please.
Yeah,
And
sir.
share
Yeah,
my
definitely.
phone number, my email, everything, please share. I will be very happy to interact with all these learned people, my friends. Thank you.
So,
Thank you,
so
sir.
shall we
Thank you.
conclude, sir? Yeah, sir,
Thank you.
please. So on behalf of Malvi Mission Teacher Training Center, Sant Garge Baba, Amravati University, and College of Engineering and Technology, Bhamburi, Jalgaon, I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Marathe sir for such a wonderful session towards this NEP framework and the basic concept and the different domains. We are really thankful to you, sir, because the concept was very vast, but you have explained this concept in a very simplest way. And definitely, we will try to inculcate a little bit inputs in our upcoming academics as well as the syllabus framing and our assessment pattern. We are really thankful to you, sir, once again for your precious time and thought-provoking session here. And with the kind consent of Professor Marathe, sir, I would like to declare that this particular session will be over here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. May I
Thank you,
leave now?
participant. Yeah, sir. Yeah, we can sum up, sir. Participant, thank you once again. And we'll meet on Monday. Tomorrow there will be a holiday.